Yes, Marie. A son crave hina cortes, current more quid fata, rib cockania ta on shop. God, here or on the both crave. Welcome to you all. Now, before proceeding, and as this is probably the first official function of Fleadh Ceoil, Cork since the passing of Joe Donovan, Europe of Costa Kunte, I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of you all to pass on our sincere sympathies to Siobhan and all his family. Joe served as county president from 1998 to 2006 and held numerous other positions in Comhaltas, including delegate to Munster and the Art Corla. His familiar face, always accompanied by his great friend, his wife Siobhan, at all major flairs throughout the country, and of course the Willie Clancy Week and other cultural events, will be greatly missed. So can I ask you maybe to stand for 1 minute silence in his memory. In the short run up to this year's Fleadh, Ceoil Cork, we had our first meeting and it was brought up that we should find somebody famous maybe to honour on our first night. And of course we didn't have to think very long because we had, of course, Peggy Lynch, our Cahirlock, our branch Cahirlock, who in the past year has attained notoriety especially in her film, in the film Kinloch's film The Wind That Shakes the Barley. This film has found international appeal, and it is astonishing that wherever Peggy's name is mentioned, the interest by people, perfect strangers even, in meeting and getting to know Peggy is palpable. You can even read the article. There's a very good article done in our Clark, which is just fresh off the presses, which is Sing It Again Peggy, done by Michal Creedon, and it gives a rundown on her part in the film and her singing of that famous song that has now become synonymous with Peggy, The Wind That Shakes the Barley. But what we really want to honour Peggy as well is for this is the 30th anniversary of the Hina Comhaltas, formed back in the 15th of April 1978. And Peggy was the one that was instrumental in forming the branch. She became its first secretary, and in the 30 years she has had numerous achievements and numerous awards through winning various competitions in Fleadh Ceoil. But as well as that, she also became chairperson then, and under her stewardship as chairperson, we had the county Fleadh Ceoil in 2001, the Munster Fleadh Ceoil in 2005, and now we have this year's Fleadh Ceoil in 2008 in Macroom as well. Now, she also had a roller coaster time as a member of the Hina Comhaltas branch. She toured extensively with the branch. She'd been in America in 81, in London in 85. Should have been to France in 85, but there was a pregnancy ensued, so she missed out on that. Bad timing there, Peggy. But basically, she enjoyed it as well as giving it her all. Now, Peggy has been singing all her life. And as well as that, Peggy is a good singer. And I would say Peggy knows she's a good singer. And it's this confidence that Peggy has that drove her, let's say, to compile 2 great CDs of local songs, especially local songs and songs that she liked particularly. And it was that confidence that drove her to do that, and there are 2 wonderful CDs. Now, one would think that with all the flag shows that we have hosted and all the activity of the branch, that branch meetings are run with military precision by Peggy, well, forget it. Because Peggy takes every opportunity to deviate well away from the course as she regales us with yarns and stories of peoples and places with fairly forthright and hilarious opinions. Peggy, ladies and gentlemen, is great fun and a tonic indeed. And to honour her tonight, we have 2 presentations, and 'tis fitting that a Suntani Cahasig will be doing the first presentation from Cortes, that is a medal and a cert, because when Peggy went to organise the first branch, she wrote to national headquarters, and national headquarters got onto Assunta, and Assunta was the person that was instrumental as well in meeting up with Peggy and forming the first branch of Cortes in Ahina. So it is fitting indeed, as something that we have you here tonight to make this presentation. So can I ask you maybe to come forward to do that, please?
Well, I hear agus Peggy, agus Gwina Ushla. It's a very special night. It's Brad and Beth who mask, agus we break us up and Kura, Beth and Danta. I'm really glad to have been invited to the tribute night for Peggy. It's a night really, I suppose, of memories and reminiscences. Can't believe it's 30 years, Peggy, since we went to Ballinagree and Cravahina was founded. Going back in there, what Dermot said about getting the letter from Naras or Maracu that you had sent him, which was written in March 78, outlining Peggy's interest in Irish culture as well as traditional music, song, and wondering if a branch of Cortes could be set up in Ballinagree. And Peggy outlined the need for such culture and traditions to be carried on and promoted in her own area, and to pass these on to the young people. Micheál O'Loughlin, some of you will remember, was the chairman of Cork County Board at the time, and anyway, as a follow-up, it was decided that we'd go to Ballinagree on the 15th of April 1978. And I remember well, before we left home, Niall telling us about the roads to take to Ballinagree. I had never been in Ballinagree, and we went astray anyway, due to the signposts and everything. We turned the wrong way. But anyway, we got to the school, and we were very impressed with Peggy and all the other people that we met in Ballinagree, with their enthusiasm and their knowledge of music and singing. And I really want to emphasise the vision and the interest that Peggy had of our culture at that time. The branch was formed anyway, and Peggy was its first secretary, a position she held for many years, and of course is now currently the chairperson. So really there's 30 years of holding office there for Ahina, and many more to come, Peggy. Yeah. So on reflecting today through correspondence, Peggy was you were a bit concerned, I think, with the mumps, and you were a bit concerned about not attending a county board meeting after the branch formation, and you wrote to me anyway asking, you didn't know what went on there. But Peggy, it didn't take her long to know what went on at the county board meetings. And I have memories and smiles on different exchanges, we call them, at such meeting. But however, Peggy always offered a down-to-earth and practical solution. And of course, Peggy was a doer. The branch led by Peggy had so many successes in the Cortes calendar. Set competitions, Cayley dancing competitions, Pléirica, Ceoil, just to mention a few, But the Fleadh Ceoil, I suppose I can remember in particular you winning the Dr. Mannix silver and getting that. And Peggy and Ahina Branch, indeed, as Dermot have said, this is the third Fleadh. So they've had the county and they've had the Munster. I think the only one that's eluding them is Fleadh Hearn, so we'll be watching out. Now Peggy has graced many heights, and her CDs, her guest appearance in The Wind That Shakes the Barley, and it's because of her great performances. Peggy's interest continued in songs, especially songs of her own area, and we would not have heard these songs, and always sung with such feeling and such a melodious voice. So we owe you a deep depth of gratitude for Peggy for bringing so many people into Cortes, and we thank you for your promotion of Irish culture, traditional Irish music, song and dance, in Ballinagree and in areas far and wide during the many trips abroad. And we thank you, Peggy, for the joy and memories you have given us, and we acknowledge your generosity in sharing your talents with us, and in sharing your songs and your natural wit, and for being part of Cortes, in fact keeping the Cortes banner flying high over Ballinagree for the past 30 years. Cortes recently designed a special service award, and such awards are being presented only to those who have achieved and given a special service to Cortes. So Harceann Ard Comhairle Cortes Culture is more in Privilege Dosa on Gradam Shavisha Cortes of Runner Peggy. So Peggy, on behalf of Cortes and Ard Comhairle, it's a great honour really and a privilege for me to present the Service Award to you tonight. A true and great lady of Irish culture, music, song and dance. And I salute you, Peggy, and wish you not alone 30 years, but the Marish of a Cave, Bin Tanabas.
They don't have this. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's beautiful.
Well, that was a lovely presentation. They look lovely, doesn't they, Peggy? Beautiful making them. Yeah, great honours. So, but we also have a second presentation to Peggy, and that's from the branch itself. And to do the honours, I would call on Nancy, our branch Kishdor, and she's also a Catholic of Cuishta Fleadh, Cork, and to present a token of our thanks for all the years, and as something says, and many, many, many more. So, Nancy, please.
So, while I'm those fault to correct Gahinga, August Mobile Buchers the Gahinga as Oct, Tap and Shop Area, and Oct. Now, 30 years is indeed a long time, and I suppose we're in Ahina 31, and I suppose Peggy was one of the first people that we got to know, and we are some of the people that Peggy introduced to the traditional music and everything that's good in to the tradition. Now, I actually found the financial statement for 1978, and I'm going to read a little bit of it for you because it actually makes very interesting reading.
Oh, good.
So, on April the 15th, the balance was 0. Now, they got an entry fee, I don't know what it was for, but it was for £8.10. And the treasurer at the time was Mary Keller, and she bought a cash book, and it cost £1.75. That left them with £6.35. She bought paper, 20 sheets, and it was £1.90. There was an ad put on the newspaper to advertise the Irish Night, and the ad was £1.98. The Irish Night they made £21.55, all of which was lodged in the bank. Now, the fee to the county board was £4.50. The fee to the bank was £1. And they sold tickets, and they made £22.52 out of the tickets. They had a church gate collection in Banlagree, and that was £18. 2/3 was sent to the county board, which was £12. They had another Irish Night, and they made £26.25. They bought more paper. For 50 pence, they put an ad in the newspaper, and it cost £1.89. And after all that, they lodged £34 in the bank. So they took in £49.67. Their expenses were £34, and they had a balance of £15.67 after the first year. Very good. But the next year they got a bit more adventurous, and there was an ad on the paper for 3 days, and that was £6.73. They were having an Irish Night. They bought some prizes, and the prizes cost £6.15. They had food, and the food cost £8. The hall for the night cost £5. The heating and the light was £1.50. And that year they went to Congress, and the fees for Congress were £26.50. Now, St. Patrick's Night, this was St. Patrick's Night 1979, they had a band, and the band cost £66. The teas cost £22.48 and a half. And a half penny. The Examiner ad was £1.98. The refreshments for the band was £7, and the bread was £11.70. That's all now. And I came up, isn't it though? I came across another one then about they went someplace on the bus, and the bus cost £2. It was a Christmas dinner, and it was on in the River Room Hotel, and the ad in the paper was £4.75. The band was £25, and the bus was £2.
Very good.
So now, on behalf of the branch, I'd like to present Peggy with this bit of jewellery.
Oh.
And I know she will like it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And it's befitting for a lady.
It's beautiful. Thank you
For a beautiful
very much.
lady.
Thank you very much.
And of course, we have to have the earrings.
Thank you.
Go with it.
Very, very good. That is absolutely beautiful. Thank you very much.
Nancy, move the stuff closer. Move over a small bit more. No, a little bit. That's
It's
it.
absolutely
No, you're very good now. Peggy.
That's absolutely beautiful. Thank you.
Now,
very
I
much.
also have some flowers for you from a fan.
From a fan.
From a fan. And he said he wouldn't, it's a man, he said he wouldn't present them to you. So he might come up in a minute and give her her pogue.
Oh yes, I want a poke.
Well, polish up Sue's.
I was thinking it first. I was thinking it first.
You were saying, and your wise words of wisdom and entertaining down through the years.
Thank you very much.
We always have you as a friend and as a mother.
Exactly, exactly.
Thank you, Dennis.
God mean about was taking the very best of the God bless you.
I better say something. I better say something. I didn't write anything down, and I haven't no couple of photos. When somebody was talking there about tonight in Ballinagree, we hadn't. I'll always remember I was working up at the Archdeacon's, the old Archdeacon O'Connor, and I used to be listening to the radio, and it was about 2:45. I'm not sure it was a Tuesday evening, and Coltis, Ceoil, and the sponsored programmes used to be on. And I thought, my God, they were singing fierce old songs, and I thought, we have all them old songs, like that, wherever they were getting them. And they used to be talking about how important it was to keep these songs alive, and the music, which was the songs that fascinated me, because I thought, we have Wrexham. So then I wrote away to the Cultural or Lauras, I don't know who, I can't remember anybody else, something, and they came out. Mihal, God rest him, he came out. And some bright spark was after turning the signpost, the Ballinagree Road facing Clounderhood. So they went up back to Clounderhood below in Coonadale, they went back to Clounderhood. And I had an awful job in trying to keep the people above inside in the school. They said they're not coming, and I nearly had to block the door. They all wanted to go home. So eventually, I'm sure Oliver's, were there, Oliver? Oliver's plan, yes, he should have been there that night. And we had a job trying to keep him in. And it's I'd say, you see, she was very diplomatic while ago, but we hadn't a clue, not a clue about how to have a meeting, how to do anything about anything. We'd know nothing. And she said to me, whatever we'll do, she said, you'll have to be secretary or else don't get off the ground. And I thought, how am I going to tell them that they'll have to vote for me, secretary? And I can't remember now, God rest my brother, he was there too. And I'd say that, I said, you better vote for me, you better, whatever he'll do, you better make, you know. Because she said, you'll have to be secretary. You see? I wasn't thinking of any position, of only that what we were going to do with the songs. We knew nothing whatsoever about a meeting. But when we used to go, then we formed a branch and everything was going grand. We started set dancing and we started doing all sorts of capers. But when we used to go to the meetings, you see, there was protocol and I hadn't a clue. And I remember we were up in Innis and they were talking about the, what was the name of the house in Innis? The Dukas. Do you remember that? Yeah, and I thought it was a failing in someone. I hadn't a clue, and it was Dukas in Kerry, isn't that where it is? Where is it? Dukas anyway. And I thought, what are they talking about? What Dukas are they talking about? But really, the last 30 years, you know, I've forgotten all about the notes and everything that Nancy have now. But you know, it was a pure pleasure. I really enjoyed the last 30 years of Coltis. And all the crack we had and all the people down through the years, you know, now it was, I can't get over the fact that there's 30 years gone. And we're still there, thanks be, I know now Niall, God rest him, he would have enjoyed tonight now. I'm reminiscing over 30 years and all the crack I used to have with Lachlan, God rest the men. At the meetings. And I'd answer it back and we'd have holy war and everything, you know. But they tells me now the meetings aren't any more fun. You know, there's no one to fight with now, like, you know, there's no one to fight with. But this presentation tonight, I really appreciate it. It's a great honour. It's very humbling to think that you think so much of me. I don't think I deserve that. I've nothing done no more than what any one of you would have done. But it really is a humbling experience, and I do appreciate it. And my voice, they were saying there, he was saying that I had awful confidence. I have not. That's why Angela Casey said there when I used to be singing, what happened to you today, Peggy? You didn't sing right, and I thought, this is it. I'm singing no more. I couldn't sing now. My hands used to be sweating so much I couldn't sing. But I was thinking coming down the road, I wrote nothing down, but I was thinking coming down the road about the Shanos. I suppose I was singing kind of Shanos or in the Shano style until I was nearly 60 years of age before I learned to sing a waltz. And then I made CD and I put waltzes in that. But when I was in school in the early days, I was supposed to go 7 in Barracar in school. One day there was a Father Murphy, God rest him, in Stuart, and he was learning children, I guess all of us, hymns or something for confirmations, but I don't know how old was I, but I was young anyway. And I was singing, we were all singing away, and I suppose I was going to be in the choir too or something. And I remember he stopped the whole lot. And he said, "What are you singing?" And I was singing what the rest of them were singing, at least I thought I was. And he said, "You have notes there that aren't in that at all. Those notes are not in that hymn, and I don't want you to sing with those notes in it." And I didn't know what notes were, and I didn't know what I was doing wrong. And it took me, I used to be always afraid to sing after that because he told me I was singing wrong. So I thought I couldn't sing at all. But whatever was in my voice, 'twas there, and I very small. But God rest my father and all belonged to him, they could sing like that too. And 'twas I used to hear him singing like that, and I thought, well, he's singing wrong too, so because Father Murphy said I was singing wrong. But I'll always remember that. Mara, you probably were there too, you don't know. Because Mara and me, both of us, went to Barra Carling School together. Now, what else was I going to say? I would like to thank Nance and our own branch for organising this, and I know it was they done it. And Angela and Lena. I have great respect for both of you and Assumpta. And all of you as well, and thank you very, very much for making this night a real pleasure for me. Thank you very, very much. And thank you.
Congratulations again on the lovely waltz, and you spoke very well, you spoke from the heart, and that's Peggy for you. So now, without further ado, we'll proceed with the rest of the evening. Thanks as well to Nancy for her presentation and reading the balance sheet from 78. No, one thing as a modern fish store, she won't give you our balance sheet today. That's so handy. So it's my pleasure now to hand over to our MCs for the night, who will just, you know, call in people at random to give a song. They're well used to it, you know. And that's Lena Benny and Angela, we would call you Kahasig, or she's actually a second cousin of mine, so she's a Donovan as well. So I'll hand over to our two MCs for the night. So we hope we'll have a great night. And remember now, the Fleadh is on for the rest of the weekend, and do come along. We have our Ceoil, and then we have our concert as well on Saturday night, and then we of course all our competitions. So thank you very much for coming tonight. Enjoy a great night. Thank you. Come on.
Seeing that Peggy is around a long time singing a song, we all love her singing. I'm going to ask Peggy to sing for us, please, first, Peggy. All right. Right.
I'm going to sing a local one, an old one, and it is very, very old. And it's called, I sang it in the very early days. It's a sod of turf from the Bogrove Hills.
Yes.
I'm sitting watching the coal fires burning, my heart and thoughts, they are far from here. In fancy's wings, they are returning to where Cork's dear old peaks appear. There is something here on the shelf before me, and oh, what rapture my heart it brings. What a flood of memory it brings o'er me, a sod of turf from the Bogrove Hills, a sod of turf that with devotion I took from home as a souvenir. But little I knew that beyond the ocean it would one day cause me to shed a tear. And could I stop my tears from flowing at the thought of Ireland's vales and hills? And would I stop my thoughts from going in fancy back to the Bogrove Hills? Old hills in your bleak majestic splendor, you are far more dear to me. Your memory awakens thoughts most tender, down all the beauty that here I see. For those city lights may be grand and glowing, but oh, my bosom with sadness fills. Oh, I ever long for soft breezes blowing across the dear old Bogrove Hills. Thank you.
We have a singer here tonight. He's one of your own crewmen, the now retired Professor John A. Murphy, and he was a member of Clashkill that we had in Connemara in Cork for years, and we always went to their office and one and everything. So John is here tonight to sing.
But Lena and I were just good friends. So I'd like to sing a song which my father would like to sing, and it's in honour of Peggy as well. Indeed. In this hotel, my late sister and her husband ran this hotel for a number of years, and we had many great nights here. My father had an enjoyable old age here and died here. And one of his great songs was Tons of Bright Gold, which of course is a Lan and Valley song. And we were talking earlier, Lena and Angela and myself, about the Éireann Níosin Céhí syndrome. You know, why was he reluctant to tell her name? And the English version is for Tons of Bright Gold. And it's a kind of a running thread throughout what you might call a peasant tradition. Was it that he didn't want to get committed in case he mentioned her name, that he'd be kind of tied to her? Or was he, as using golfing parlance, was he playing a loose shot? But in any way, it's an interesting question. And we have some interesting evidence also of the way the woman in question reacted to these songs. My father told me that the woman for Tons of Bright Gold, he won't tell her name, that everyone knew her name, that she was a Mary Murphy, and that even in extreme old age she kept her looks. And a man called Dennis McSweeney from your area up there, who was a relation, I think Johnny Tom Gleason's, also had the same story, that in her old age she used to love hearing this song about herself. And in the Irish song from the Daisha, in Ian Eat on Lown, she went on apparently to marry a rich merchant in the town of Cahir in County Tipperary. And one night, there were two drivers being put up for the night in the hotel, and they sang this song, and she was greatly taken by it and still drinks all night. And finally, Tomás O'Sullivan wrote some song also about a similar situation, and the woman in question fainted when someone sang the song one night in her pub. So it appears these women about whom these songs were written greatly enjoyed the experience, but they seem to have gone on and married well endowed, I mean financially well endowed. And so there it is. And as I say, my father will speak on this song. And I have, by the way, anywhere I've spoken about singing in this whole area, I've always paid tribute to the specific heritage of the Ahina area, because most people, I suppose, would be more aware of the sexy appeal of Kool-Aid. Do you mind that, Danny? You don't? I don't. And the whole heritage of the Lana Valley gets forgotten, so I like to remind people of that. These days, I spend much more time in the introduction and the song, because the voice isn't what it used to be. And whenever I say that, someone from the back of the hall says, it never was. And the words of these songs, by the way, the true test of a living ballad is that you might hear different versions of the words keep changing. There's no such thing as a set text, which everyone must sing. And 'tis down by the Lana, my darling goes herding her kine. I wish I were near to hear her singing most fine. Her voice would outliven the nightingale's melodious strain. But for tons of bright gold, of course, I won't tell her name. And as one fine summer evening, through fields and green I strayed, conversing on when who should I see but a handsome and comely young maid? But for tons of bright gold, of course, I won't tell her name. And at Ballinagree, when I see her going to pray, my heart fills with delight at the sight of this handsome young maid. She's free from all pride, and I'm highly glad of that same. And for tons of bright gold, of course, I won't tell her name. And if I and my darling together alone could be, traversing the mountains from Combe to the top of Fleadh, from kissing her sweet lips, of course, I wouldn't refrain. But for tons of bright gold, of course, I won't tell her name. And if I had Macroom and all the broad lands by the Lee, and all the fine farms from Blarney to Ballinagree, I'd give them and more this comely young lassie to gain. But for tons of bright gold, of course, I won't tell her name. But if I and my sweetheart together in wedlock were tied, the clergy well paid, considering their labour so light, till that is achieved, her identity I'll not explain. But without any gold, of course, I then tell her name.
Now I'm going to call on, as we all know, since she's a little girl back in Ballinamore, Kathleen Begley, but she's Kathleen O'Lynch.
It
People out there in the perimeter, if you want to bring in your seats there and be a bit closer to the action, there's plenty of space inside here just before the next singer. You want to add another few spares? There's one or two spare seats just to come in a bit closer. If you want to bring in your seats.
He was born in the city where the river Shannon flows. youth of tender bearing, as everybody knows. He loved our native language because it was our own. And Irishman remember well Sean south from Garyon, and with New Year's Eve approaching, he faced the ancient foe. Not many greeted him that day, for few had seen him go. But when his little body came to rest amongst his own, there were thousands there to welcome back Sean south from Garyon. On the wee ones round Fermanagh, they're all asking where you've gone. Where is that red-haired soldier boy who spoke our native tongue? Around the fire he drew for us and spoke of peace and tone. Oh, mother, will we meet again, Sean south from Garyon? Oh, Sean Agra, you're resting now with Ireland's noble dead, whilst Ulster fields run crimson with the blood you've gladly shed. May the Lord and High who rules the sky take you to his kingly throne. And Irishman remember well Sean south from Garyon.
Big around the big or the Caucasian and the kids.
There was a fair maiden in the old country. Good friends, she had many of every degree. She rose in great riches and was free from all her care, till her father's young ploughboy her heart did ensnare. One day as she rambled on her father's domain, young Willie the ploughboy, he was ploughing the plain. He there looked so handsome as he sang a sweet song to cheer up his horses as they plowed. she called to her Willie to rest for a while. And then he looked round him with a nod and smile. 'Twas then he looked round him and these words he did say: You are deep in my heart, love, alone as I stray. Then give over your ploughing, and that very soon we'll go to America and we'll plough the deep fold. We'll go to America where thousands do go, and I'll be proud of my plough boy wherever I go.
Táimid in adreis is go gael tapírí is cover round down the knees. Round down. Up round.
Is bofrin fiar me tatavad vad again. O dagens små vinter garos Ceoil. Time she time tersha lakana te firon. O dagens baile tatale hashun anwen. Moichies land ut arne keine keger fade melet. Is han min ter an narin moha brahied gomor. Gasarar is kalin a dag som joig an maile a hanneke lehelan. Ben an tieskans an iha ik braf niks an din. Ben an piektov som filan ik snav an din. An hersas an smålin edig skir chanten hjul an maile ta hanneke lehelan. Dag I fire maiden aun han drog der vel. Bagolet gur begardin ja fare hishe. No blavan brati no en korkes an vor. A dasen an maile a tale hashun Erim she erisa is worm and rost. Is gachne o vele a tans na fleisch gehard. Med a hoed shall of Valerie Marie Spain Fado. Eran maile ta neke lehelan.
On North Cork are now Ellery Drawers.
To my comrades bright, come listen to my tale of bygone days in memory's haze. did grow as we wandered free o'er hill and lea, where the yellow waters flow. At Welsh's Cross we would pitch and toss till the twilight hours of day. Then through moonlit lanes we claimed to stray, we would homeward wind our way. With Colleen fair beyond compare, wandering we would go. Tree iron out, the calf and the gowl, where the yellow waters flow. From Clarence Cross to knock on glass, we oft times made our way. We crossed commands to Martin's lawn, all eager for the fray. With skill and dash we could weave the ash as we struggled with each bow, with might and grace for our native place, where the yellow waters flow. Kilt and Coolban and Clowny Command, those boyhood haunts of old. And the cross of seats where we sang the deeds of Ireland's heroes bold. That gallant band of rebels grand, who fought that we might know sweet liberty and tranquility, where the yellow waters flow. Oh, now we see no more those golden days of youth. And when alas my soul shall pass unto the land of truth, on the chapel hill just lay me still, or Fremont town below, so I still can hear both loud and clear those yellow waters flow.
I have wandered in exile midst cold-hearted strangers, far, far from my home and the beautiful Fleadh. I have struggled alone through all the sorrows and dangers, and braved every storm by land and by sea. Through Columbia's wild forests, or India's spicy bowers, through the great orange river, whose sands are of gold. Let I sigh for thee still, midst the birds and wildflowers. I have loved thee and will till this fond heart grows cold. I have met with fair maidens, with long flowing tresses, and beautiful eyes that looked kindly on me. Yet I think with regret of the smiles and caresses of a fair-haired young maiden who lived by the lea. I have come back again, but she's not in the bower where the river flows past in its scant tiny waves. I have called her in vain, for the ivy-clad towers of sweet Enniscara o'ershadows her grave. The home of my childhood in ruin it is fallen, and the dear ones that loved me shall greet me no more. Yet I gaze on them still, joyous visions recalling, though the long grass is grown on the step of the door. I will rest with them soon, with the shamrock above me. From my own native Cork, never more shall I roam, till I'm laid in the grave with the dear ones that loved me, as in death they will welcome the wanderer home.
There has a friend from Tony who has come over, Tony O'Neill, so Tony might sing for us, please.
On Raglan Road of an autumn day, I saw her first and knew that her dark hair would weave a snare, that I might wander. I saw the danger and I passed along the enchanted way, and I said, let grief be a fallen leaf at the dawning of the day. On Grafton streets in November we tripped lightly along the ledge of a deep ravine where can be seen the words of passion's play. The Queen of hearts still making tarts, and I'm not making hay. And I loved so much that such and such was happiness thrown away. I told her secrets of the mind, I showed her secret signs. That's known to the artists who have known true gods of sound and stone. A word intent without a stint, I gave her poems to say, and with her name there and her own dark hair, like clouds over fields of May. On a quiet street where all goes meet, I see her walking now. Away from me so horribly, me reason must allow that I have loved not as I should, a creature made of clay. And when the angel woos, the clay he'll lose his wings at the dawn of the day.
I'm calling now on there are two daughters here tonight of the late great Johnny Cronin, who entertained the Ceoil, Magella and Regina. So Magella is going to sing for us first now, please.
When I left Ireland long ago, my age was scarce 18. 'Twas many the time I often thought that I'd come back again, but the years rolled on, and I grew old. Now fever is my stand, and now I'm dying in America, far away from my native land. When I told my parents that I would go, 'twould break your heart to see. They looked at one another, and more grown they looked at me, saying, "Child, we bred you from your youth, and now that you're a man, do not leave us here to mourn and weep, whilst you sail for another land." My father died, and my mother too, when I was far from home. 'Twas many the time they must have said, "Our boy will ne'er see more." Their bones lie mown
I might give up halfway because we've the little few. Come on, you wandering heroes, wherever you might be. Don't tire with any master, where'er your work might be. For you must rise up early from the clear daylight till the dawn. For I'm afraid that they won't be able to plow the rocks on. Now rise up, lovely Sweeney, and give your horse some hay, and give him a good feed of oats before you go away. Don't feed him on soft turnips now, put him out on yon green lawn, or else he won't be able to plow the rocks on. My shoes, they are all worn out, sure those stockings, they're getting thin, and my heart is always trembling for fear they might give in. Sure, my heart is always trembling now from the clear daylight till the dawn, and I'm afraid that they won't be able to plow the rocks upon. My curse upon you, Sweeney, sure you have me nearly robbed. You're sitting by the fireside with your duty in your gob. You're sitting by the fireside from the clear daylight till the dawn, and I'm afraid that they won't be able to plow the rocks upon. Oh, I wish the Queen of England she would write to me in time and place me in her regiment, all in my youth and my prime. Sure, I'd fight for Ireland's glory from the clear daylight till the dawn, and I never would return again for to plow the rocks upon.
Spanish Freeze Fain. That's it, let me hear the thing early. Come all you friends and neighbours, his age comes a shell, and hear my mournful tale, mar hardly dig it then. 'Twas on a June fair day, nor a bean green I tell you that I started on my way, August queers a Belvy. When I landed at the fair, within their foot while some trying to sell their wares, sedan are the English graddy. And the farmers they were there, big deal of Gussie Cannock, and a singer from Kenmare is by Lady Get a Canna. I wander through the fair, we gomse da in dammen, no worries and no cares, near a bogomna couple. But later in the day, we must trap the catch, and 'twas the night did repair, a gore brain could take it then. When I strolled into the alehouse, within own a cannon, a company most airy, lesh clefagus lemmagan. Along came this young fair maid, the she is a Mike, or her miniskirt was net, is a cosse, she is with hollow. I bought her punch and ale, agus all she got big. I thought she was the lady, the loud she dumb cock but now 'twas getting late, is bevenlum double while, or said she, young man, go easy, her lumpity chalet. I got up from the table, the cowrick she lumped hummel, as well as she was able, was quick to draw and chalet. But when we reached that station, Bahuruk Marcashel, though it looked more like a stable, snagged Michigan and Hustle. I tried to make a break out the leg she'd make a tallow. 'Twas then she called her mate, fair after blood and latin. I knew I stood in danger, nor a knop come I can, or they hammered me like hell, Gorkholly Spain Marklano. 'Twas at the break of day, le brachen lair madden, my consciousness regained, the brahaswim wallet. My watch and golden chain, for some here and my socks and shoes she taken, come my lamp reached the latter. Embarrassed and ashamed, rusty as a draw on while in sorrow and in shame, is my friend being rotted at avoiding all the neighbours, mar the vedish comic mug, or just like a hunted hare on a random visit that way. Now come all you drunken rakes, happy and tiggled and my wisdom let me share, mar the foot is a kill can make. Be cautious of the fair maids, lest your steed at the garra, or 'tis dearly you will pay for your tour losing that
Bishop, yeah, we're going to Again for our audience.
And it's nice.
Did you charge